Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'm with Emily Dean and I'm with Alan Cochrane.
Morning.
And I've got pig iron. I've got all pig iron.
Oh, they're all coming out now.
Yeah. I haven't said that for ages. Sometimes it's nice to go back, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think. Although, can I say, I was walking along the river yesterday, obviously on the pathway. I wasn't having a religious experience. And I bumped into Miles Jopp.
Oh, yes.
He's a bit of an OC of mine.
An OC?
Obscure crush.
Oh, is he really?
Is he really?
Nice.
Nice.
Quite hot for him.
If he knows, yeah. Well,
I wonder if he knows. Well,
yeah, last time I saw him,
I'll text him.
Yeah, he was dancing to the Prodigy last time I saw him on Let's Dance for Sport Relief.
Oh, I thought you meant walking down the river.
No. Anyway, we started talking, and he's doing a show for Radio 4 about mysteries, and I said to him, I was reading a thing, and it was about a ghost thing, and I said I was reading it on the web, and then I thought, do people say that? Is that something that people say on the web? And I got I didn't want to go back to it. But like a dog returning to its vomit. I thought, shall I? And I left. I sort of fluffed my way through the rest of the anecdote because my on the web had thrown me so much.
You went a bit Wogan's web.
I did. And I left, and I knew him and his friend. Well, I didn't know, but I thought they might be snickering.
Do you think?
Snickering at me. What about him and his on the web remarks? And am I wrong?
What else could you have said?
Can you say I saw it on the web?
I'm not the one to ask. I'm ancient, darling.
Were you reading a blog? Is that what it was?
No,
a blog about mysteries.
Should I say on the internet? And even then,
online.
I should have said online.
Frank, I've got it. It's online.
Of course, it's online. Of course, I've been a complete fool of myself.
I think the fact that it took three of us that long to get to online means you've got to pass there. You can forgive
but I don't know if I've ever said on the web before. I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go techno. Yeah. And I arrived. I'd say I arrived at about 2007. Is my guess. Yeah. There was Robert's Web, wasn't it? Robert Webb did a TV show about the
Robert's
Don't
Web.
try and wriggle out of it.
No, I'm not. I don't want to try and wriggle out of a web.
Frank, they've been texting in already this morning on 8, 12, 15.
Brilliant.
We've had Susie Jones.
I like the sound of Susie Jones. I imagine that she was a podium dancer in the 80s.
Oh. She says you belong in Scotland, Frank.
Well, look, won't have it. Why? Why, Susie? Why do I belong in Scotland?
She says because pineapple crush flows freely there. And that's because you were talking about pineapple aid last week, Frank, on the podcast. Is
that the same thing? Crush isn't one of those you add water to, is it?
No, it's just like a fizzy
Isn't
drink.
it incredible in the 21st century you still buy drinks that you add water to?
Yeah.
I mean, I had a tin of Campbell's soup the other week, which you had to add
Condensed
water to.
makes double.
Yeah.
As it says on the can.
they still do that?
2012, I'm adding water to soup.
I like that, though. I thought that would appeal to your...
God, I've half a mind to complain about... I might start something on the web about some sort of group on the web.
That's what the web's crying out for, isn't it? People that are angry about the modern world.
I just don't know what it's crying out for anymore. I've had a strange week. I've dined at some of the finest restaurants in the world. Can I say that?
You have. I can vouch for you.
Yeah. And you know what they always say about one thing about celebrity, you can turn up and say, I know it's last minute, but I wonder if we get... They say, no, Mr. Skinner, please, we'll find you a table. Nice. Of course, lovely. Anyway, I was turned away from the Rainforest Cafe.
Oh, God!
That's the Rainforest Cafe.
Can I say, Frank, that's a low point for the brand, what I call the Skinner brand.
Oh, it's the end. They said to me, there'll be 45-minute wait for a table. The Rainforest Cafe, can I point out, in case you don't know, is a sort of a themed cafe.
I loathe it.
And the theme is rainforests. So every
Right.
10 minutes there's a tropical storm in there, a mocked-up
okay.
tropical
Just
storm. There's lightning and thunder.
Just while you're mid-anecdote.
Yeah, exactly.
Normally, a macaw starts screeching.
There's not really. Surely this
Yes.
is a joke.
And I've been. Yes, there is. No, and there's animatronic gorillas who respond in
No.
quite a laid-back fashion. They do the slow blink. You know the way dummies, ventriloquist dummies, do that unnerving slow blink, and the machine-like swivel of the head. That's what the gorillas do. I mean, who wants it? But so they said it's a 45-minute wait.
Oh my God.
Rainforest Cafe, 45. So now I'm pro deforestation.
I was going to say, did you raise it to the ground?
It's completely changed. When I say I'm pro deforestation, I don't mean the person who played Dr. McCoy on Star Trek. You've got mixed up with your deforests. That was DeForest Kelly, I believe.
Yes, I
Was
know.
it?
Look
Yeah.
it up on the web.
Yeah,
On the
Is
web.
it on? Will it be on the web? Let's have a look, shall we? Where's my word processor?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So I was turned away ultimately from the Rainforest Cafe.
Oh, Frank.
Well, hang on,
I ended up
hang on.
going to. I wouldn't mind, but I
Where
used
did you go? To the Ivy?
No, I went to Byron Burgers.
Nice.
Somewhere which sounds like it's going to be themed. You know, I hope.
What is it called? Buy more burgers.
Byron.
That's how they get you, though, subliminally.
But wouldn't it be great if the waiters all had the club foot and an aristocratic 18th century look about them and smelt of laudanum?
They're
And
becoming
read from Childe Harold.
they're becoming a chain, aren't they? There's loads of them now.
They'd become a chain.
Yeah, I was
It's happened.
only in there the other day. And
Get
they were
with
saying
it. Look on the web.
There's like 30 of these.
Yeah.
Frank, Alan saw a text. I'm sorry, but I have to speak out.
Go
one
on,
of the
speak
things,
out.
one
Which
of the
was-
things I enjoy when we arrive is looking at the texts from previous shows that have come in. And at 4:41 a.m, somebody has texted Absolute Radio, "Will you play Someone Like You by Adele, please?" There's a text that didn't need sending.
Oh,
No, I
that's so depressing.
we won't be playing that. I think, she's had enough airplay on this station as far as I'm concerned.
We've had another text I like from Wendy and Steve that say, "Hi, my husband and I are going to the 25th British Juggling Convention in Southend. We've travelled since 4 a.m. from Leeds."
She was asking for someone like you this morning.
I went to the, I think it might have been the 17th or something like that. I went to the juggling convention when it
Did
was
you?
in Leeds. Oh no, I was 17, so it was probably the first or something like that. Hang on, what age am I now?
You went as a competitor, or is it?
I went 20 years ago. Oh, God.
Yeah, but were you involved in the juggling?
Yeah, I just did a bit of juggling and watched a lot. I watched a lot.
Indian club?
I did. No, I didn't go out.
Throwing knife? Flame?
You all right?
Fruit?
You're just saying words now.
No, I'm not saying words. I'm offering juggling things.
Frank's
do juggling
childish
clubs.
glee when he said flame.
Yeah.
No, but a juggled flame is
I
a
know.
special moment.
All right, I thought this was the gay club near your house again.
No, that's
Frying pan fire.
That's fire.
Flame.
Yeah, could well be one. Slider always in there. That's a joke. It's an old film joke for our older listeners. So what did you juggle on that day? Come on, out with it.
Well, I would have been doing a bit of... it's very depressing, though, because you turn up thinking...
What did you juggle, though?
I like
Oh my God, he's lying. It's like
three
when I went out with
three
Three.
clubs.
He's
some
been
balls.
evasive.
I was
it
being
kittens?
evasive. Do you know what happened? I got there, and I think I was 17, and I thought I was quite good, but I was self-taught, and the first day, a 6-year-old boy walked past me juggling 5 clubs or something, just amazing.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, okay, they're all going to be amazing, and they were all amazing.
Yeah.
But that's nice.
Well,
They had a
it's
nice
good.
time, weren't
It's
they,
good
Wendy
to-
and Steve?
Yeah, it's... I wonder who's the juggler, or do they juggle together? Sometimes you get the
imagine they do.
two-hander.
The passing. Oh, yeah, you could do that.
Like
you could
skipping. You
put
get
your
the
arms around
girls...
each other and do a 3-ball cascade if you...
Well,
You're
that'd
interested.
be fabulous, a 3-ball cascade. I'd look, well, I have a great time at the juggling convention. What is it, the 25th?
It's the 25th British
Well, that'll be,
Juggling
surely that'll
Convention.
be some sort of special
Yeah.
silver jubilee.
Is it silver, yeah.
Okay, that's 5 minutes on juggling. Can we talk about fashion?
No, but, well, fashion actually is a good point because, do you remember the Fashion Cafe?
Yes, I do, Frank. Of course I remember
See, that was a themed cafe
was
that
never
went.
a fashion cafe.
There was.
Surely.
I went there. I had burger and chips and watched a catwalk fashion show.
In the fashion cafe, you had burger and chips.
I know that was the problem with the Fashion Cafe, is that everyone there obviously was people who didn't eat.
Yeah.
But the idea was that you'd go there and see supermodels, but it was actually people in trainers from Wisconsin, unfortunately.
There was, but I went. There was an actual catwalk show going on as I ate. You know, with attractive young people, well dressed. It's lovely. Do you know I used to own a bit of rainforest? I've just remembered.
Is this one of your lies?
No, I bought. It was a sort of a. You had to buy a square mile or a square acre, I think it was, of rainforest. If you can have a square acre.
How did you get that off Sting?
Acreage.
No, I didn't.
I hate the rainforest.
Not with the table tennis
I hate
man.
the rainforest.
Remember the table tennis man who we used to meet in the rainforest? I used to do that in pubs all the time with beer mats. I used to hold a beer mat against my lower lip and say, anyway, I've got to go now, I'm meeting Sting in half an hour. It's the props, you see, you've got to use life as the props. It's important. But no, I had a square acre. I must still own it. I've got a certificate somewhere.
Sounds all right.
You think that would get me a seat in the Rainforest Cafe? If I'd have took that certificate. And then I also adopted you adopt an African child.
Yeah.
Forgot all about him, actually.
Hope he's okay.
I don't know if he's still on the direct debit.
It's a shame you couldn't marry the two and pop him in your little bit of acreage in the rainforest.
Dear, I've left. He can run that umbrella shop I was thinking of opening up on my acre. I still thought, though, what happened to him? Oh dear, I've left a whole
Let's
pile.
ponder that now.
I've left a pile of third world debris behind me.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
You guys were talking about juggling. Sorry to interrupt, but I'd quite like to talk about Molly from the Saturdays and Prince Harry. Okay.
Oh yes, I saw.
Have you seen this?
Oh God, it was
Are
on
they-
the
are they
Daily
item?
Mail website.
Well, he's.
On the web.
Yeah.
Did you read it on the web?
I saw it on the web. I keep an eye on the
We do love the Daily Mail website.
web
Oh,
news.
yes, it's very good at what
We
it-
know it's an
what it
organ of
does.
evil, but the website is good. Prince Harry, Frank, so they've started dating. You see, they like him in the press because he's still got his hair. So they call him his royal hotness and things.
Ginger as
Yes.
it may be.
His royal hotness. Because, the other one lost it. But he's got a new girlfriend. What were you going to say about Prince Harry?
Well, my worry about the new girlfriend. I know she's in the Saturdays, and the Saturdays are all what the populace see as beautiful. But he's done a cruel thing, which you must never do. When you must have a bit of variety in your adjacent partners. It's very important.
Right.
Oh, God, Chelsea's not going to come out of this well, is she?
Well, what he's done, he went out with Chelsea Davy, the well-known 18th century highwayman. And it does sound like, oh, you beat Chelsea Davy, has taken over the stagecoach. Anyway, he went out with Chelsea Davy, and then what he's done, he's gone up with what looks suspiciously like an upgrade.
Oh,
Right.
You know what I mean?
never
It's the
get an upgrade.
same kind of person, just with a slightly...
It would be
slightly
like if
nicer
someone
finish.
dated me and then went out with Nancy DeLolio, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Frank!
Is it
It
too
would
like
be-
for like? Is that
It'd be
the
like
problem?
if I went out with Chocky and then went out with Rupert Grint. I'd be rubbing Chocky's nose in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or indeed Elton John.
Elton John. Elton John would be somewhere. I don't know where he'd be. Would he be pre or post Chocky
I don't know.
in the upgrade thing? So it's a bit. I feel sorry for Chelsea Davy.
Mm-hmm.
And also, she's there's a pop star, whereas Chelsea Davy was. What was she? Socialite.
Her dad was rich.
Wasn't her dad a great white hunter?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Well, I mean, I won't. I don't know, actually, after being turned away by the Rainforest Cafe, I think I'm with him all the way. So anyway, yes, he's going out with Molly.
So they met at the Polo. Fabulous.
Of course they did.
That's not the name of a club, that's a sporting event, isn't it? At
No.
the Polo?
No, yeah, exactly. But they
I
also...
wonder if he's any good at polo.
Who, Harry?
Yeah.
He doesn't really have to be, does he?
I mean, I
He's
saw
his
a picture
royal
of
hotness,
him.
for goodness sake.
I saw a picture of him on a horse, and you think, if he was rubbish, what would happen about that?
Yeah. I mean,
Do they let him sort of play really well? Is it like when Idi Amin was the heavyweight champion of Uganda?
do you think people stand off a bit?
No one's going to really go for it with Prince Harry, because you want him to be a bit good. Prince on a horse, it's a British
It's
tradition.
like Ambassador's child always having to win past the parcel at the party and
Yeah, I
things.
think, yes.
I mean, I'm
I
pretty
remember that
neutral.
from my childhood. I used to hate the ambassadors' children.
I'm pretty neutral when it comes to the royals, but I think if I was playing five-a-side with one of them, I'd probably stand off a bit. I wouldn't clatter in,
you got to let him.
just in case I was later beheaded for treason or
No,
something.
I think he might well be. And the trouble is, he'll think he's brilliant at polo.
Yeah.
And everyone is just letting him.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway,
So they went to what I call a bit of a... it was an EDV, which is, you know, those early dates venue, so you decide where you're going to go.
yes.
But they went to a club called Bunga Bunga, which I thought sounded a bit suspect.
Isn't that what Berlusconi is doing?
Yeah,
Yes.
bunga bunga
Oh,
parties.
no, that sounds a bit...
You can't take a first date to a bunga bunga party. That's
Tells you a
very
lot about
for
what
a
sort of
ghoul.
girl she is.
Yeah.
And then they went to a karaoke
I
club.
bet when she walked in, somebody went, yowza. It's that kind of a club. They went karaoke then. What?
I thought that was a terrible idea.
Did Harry?
Terrible.
Did Harry get up and do karaoke?
I don't know. I wasn't there, darling.
Well,
But
surely they would have reported that in the papers.
Well, more likely did she. I mean, if she's in a band, if she did
we
karaoke...
say in a band.
Can I say I was once at a karaoke club, and the man from Aqua, do you know the man who used to say, come on Barbie, let's go party? He got up.
No.
And they said, what do you want to sing? And
He didn't
said,
say that.
I'll do Barbie. And he did both parts.
Extraordinary.
It wasn't that great. And if he can't do it, I mean.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Right, we were talking about Prince Harry earlier.
You were.
Well, I was, but before we continue with that, there's an email we've had in, which Alan and I rather enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
It's the man who used to be the manager of the fashion cafe.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
He's called Jock Dunbar.
I was starting to think on him. He's called Jock Dunbar.
Yes.
I bet he likes a pineapple crush.
He says, I used to be the manager of the fashion cafe, and we were always getting celebs booking tables. Oh, I think maybe that was, a reference to me, suggesting that no celebs went there. Sorry, Jock.
Oh, yeah, careful.
One Saturday night, we had Britney Spears' agent book a table for 20. As you can imagine, 20 was a big deal in a High Turn-themed restaurant. High Turn, I like that.
High turn, what does that mean?
I think it's probably meaning high turnover, isn't
Oh,
it,
I
of
see.
tables. He probably thought
The money man.
20 extra covers.
Oh, I
They
love
call it
a
covers.
bit of slang like that.
I do as well.
I remember on tour once, the tour van took in, and the guy said, "What? It's done 11k. You're gonna have to ramp it." Loved it.
I like it in the fashion trade when they say, "Oh, sleeve pullers."
What does
Oh,
that
really?
mean? Oh,
That's
people
people-
that just have a quick look.
Tyre kickers.
Yeah,
No.
sleeve pullers.
Oh, I'm a sleeve puller.
I'm glad.
Yes, I knew you were.
I'm glad I found out what that's called. If I had someone call me a sleeve puller, I'd be really worried about what that meant.
You're giving away penalties all over the place.
No,
Yeah.
So can I carry on, guys?
Carry on with Jock.
So anyway,
Jock
meanwhile,
Dunbar.
over with Jock.
Is it Jock?
Yeah, it's Jock.
Lachlan Jock Dunbar.
Okay.
So, Brittany is waiting to come in.
Yeah.
But table booked for 20. As you can imagine, we got excited at the thought of a then A-list turning up.
Well, yeah. After having had me on the midweek.
This whole entourage turned up, but no Brittany.
Oh.
Then we realised they'd pulled a fast one, getting a table on the back of someone famous.
Oh.
I hate it when people do that.
Well, that was the beginning of the end for the fashion cafe. Well, I hope it is Jock. I haven't added that name in some sort of semi-racist way. Yeah. Oh well, I hope Jock is still in the
Gainfully
business.
employed
Yeah,
in
exactly.
some-
Because it went quite quickly. The fashion cafe. 1 minute it was there, next minute it was gone.
Maybe Sports Cafe, get a job there.
Well, if not, it's from a size 0 theme. So that is difficult. Anyway, it's lovely to hear from you. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't book something. And I once went to Planet Hollywood with Dennis Leary. American comic, and Jonathan Ross was there, David Baddiel, and Robert Downey Jr. turned up.
Lovely.
Very drunk indeed. And at the end of the night, the manager said, "Can I just say everything's on the house. It's all free." Fantastic,
wow. Lovely.
And Dennis Leary was on. He was on per diems at the time, so he got a daily allowance. He got cash in hand daily allowance doing this film, and he used to get 250 quid a day. And he gave the waitress. He said, "Oh well, here's a tip," and he gave her 250 quid in cash, and she burst into tears.
Wow.
Fabulous.
Maybe she thought he was suggesting something about her
I
charging by the hour.
I think not.
When he threw in the word per diems, she was thinking, what's this Latin for?
Where did he put the money, Frank?
I have. No,
That's what I want to know.
It wasn't that kind of club. But I once. I tell you what I noticed this week on the subject of getting older is I saw two girls in very, very short skirts and sort of spaghetti strap tops. Attractive young women. Walking towards me, and I thought,
well spotted.
And I thought, well, they must be freezing. That's how I've changed.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We were discussing.
It's Royal Hotness.
What do you call it?
EDV.
Early
So there's-
date venues.
Yes.
Okay.
So where do you take people? Molly from the Saturdays and Harry, they went to karaoke, which I thought was a terrible idea. It's too early.
Hard for him, though, isn't it? Because he's a royal, so he's got to rule out
No, it's
several
easy
pubs.
for him, but he could take her to a sort of a big ambassadorial dinner in Bahrain if he wanted to.
But he can't do the sort of man in the street normal date of, do you want to go for a drink or a bit of food? I walked past the pub yesterday called the Queen's Arms, the Queen Vic, the King Charles, the Prince of Wales. There's loads of royal. It's going to be weird, isn't it? You can't go, should we go for a drink in my grand's arms? It's weird.
What about, she's called Molly King, isn't she?
Oh, yeah?
Oh, it's
So
fake.
that's going to be confusing, isn't it?
But no,
Yeah.
with these early date venues, you see, karaoke, you can't expose that. That's too early on.
He'll get a right Molly King from his mother. I'm not actually not from his mother. Not from his mother. I'll take that. His mother, sadly, is no longer with us. But yeah, well, my first date with Kath, my first sort of proper, will you come with me to? We went to Gunter Van Hagen's Body Worlds exhibition.
No.
Yeah.
I thought you went on a holiday or
No,
something.
but you
Oh
can't.
no,
really
that was date one, Alan. We
don't-
on holiday.
She'd already agreed to the holiday,
Right.
and then.
Then you thought you'd horrify her.
Well, I think
Here's
it's
a parade
good.
of
It's
dead
good to
people.
bring up anatomy early on.
Did you really take her there?
And mortality.
Well, I think it was. It was just. It was a hint. Is what it was. Let's get medical. Medical.
You say hint, I say warning.
Let's get.
I was taken to a car park once, Frank.
What, I'm brutally beaten by a group of paramilitaries. Is that where this is going?
No.
On a date, you were taken to a
It
car
wasn't a
park?
multi-story, in fairness. It
No.
was sort of overlooking a grassy knoll in a nice part of North London. But nevertheless...
It was and you sat in the car?
It was a pen display. There was a pen display there. I don't sit in the car. What sort of a
Was it a
girl do you
picnic?
think I am?
Well, what did you do in the car park?
We walked over the road to the Starbucks, went Dutch for the Starbucks. I'm not joking.
Well, that wasn't a first date in a car park, then, was it? You
It was.
parked,
No.
and then you went to Starbucks.
and when we went back to the car park, we didn't stay in the Starbucks. We sat on a bench in the car park.
You sat
stay.
in the...
Yes.
You couldn't stay in the Starbucks. You were on a meter.
No, but that's why I think he didn't want to, because you'd have to pay to eat in, to drink in, as it were.
Yeah, but you sat in a car. I mean,
Yes.
I'm worried. Not just because you were being treated like some sort of strumpet, but also the carbon monoxide,
I know.
especially when you're eating and
He kept yawning as
you
well.
don't
He kept yawning, Frank.
you don't
this
want
guy-
petrol debris on your big coin. I presume he got you a big coin from Starbucks. I mean, what's the point?
No,
better.
no chocolate on the cappuccino. He was useless.
Well, I'd love to know what strange early dates our listeners have been on. That's what I'd like to know. I don't want to ask them direct. It seems a bit forward. But let's hope they take the hint of me saying it like that in the third person.
Absolute
Absolute
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
With Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. And Uncle Tom Cobley and all, and Uncle Tom Cobley and all.
Someone was saying last night that Tom Conti was on a Celebrity Antiques Roadshow.
Good.
I'm gutted I missed that one.
I really like that.
Got a lovely house. Lovely big house he's got.
Has he?
Oh, God.
Full of antiques by the sounds of things. Somebody's texted in, Tom from Kent, Frank and the team. I know this is slightly off topic.
It's not Tom Conti.
No.
Tom Kenty.
Tom Kenty. I know this is slightly off topic, but this is an update. I got an unexpected text from that Hungarian girl who didn't speak English, and we went out last night. Last week, Tom...
What was the manner of this text?
He texted in last... Oh, yeah.
If
How
she
did
doesn't
do
speak
that?
English.
Maybe she's got like a spell check on her iPhone or
Would be a
something.
hell of a spell check, wouldn't
Perhaps
it?
she puts it in Hungarian and it comes out like
You need to know where to get all those accents.
So
another
you
date,
it's
yes.
like bilingual predictive text.
another date, yes please, or something.
Yeah. Oh, the
Well, I'm
web.
glad that worked out for them.
I don't know what the web's going to come up with. Oh, they've had a date.
It sounds like they've had one date. We went out last night. She wants to see me again. So today's show's probably very apposite for him. He's probably thinking,
Where
now
shall I
I know
take
all
her?
these places that I shouldn't take her. The fashion cafe.
There's a Hungarian cafe in... Where's he from, does it say?
Kent.
Kent.
In Soho,
Tom
there's an
Kent.
Hungarian cafe.
Tom,
would,
take her there.
I once did a friend of mine is a restaurant reviewer, and I went there, and...
Hey, girl.
No, no, not no. His face is too big. I don't want a sense of carnival day when I'm out eating. No, I went out and I remember they came over and went, "Oh, Mr. Skinner, it's very good to have you here." And I thought, "Oh, no, this is terrible. Because if this is a negative review now, I'm going to feel really bad because they're so nice to me."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I feel trapped in here. I said to my friend, "Now, I said, I feel like I'm in the Goulash Archipelago." And, sometimes you're just so proud. When a pun is born. Johnny Mathis there, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks.
So hold on, so it's going. Because I advised against it, didn't I?
You did.
The language
Sounds like
barrier.
You
it's going
said no good will come of it because there's a language barrier.
He said you didn't speak a word of English. Now she's texting him, so get your story straight. East is east and west is west, and near the twain... And I don't mean near the twain, starring Windsor Davis and Donald Cinder. Near the twain shall meet. Who said that?
I don't know, someone from 1954, probably.
I think it was E.M. Forster, wasn't
Was
it?
it?
In Passage to India.
Frank, there's another text.
Absolute Radio. Yeah. Another text.
There's a text in from Amanda. Hi, gang. I'm looking at the back of Frank's head, and he looks like he has about 3 layers of clothing on. Is it still cold? P.S. Love the bracelets, Emily. Nice one. Oh, Danny Dyer, nice one.
Well, it is.
Nice one.
It is actually still quite cold. So I was saying I bumped into some Everton fans yesterday, and they obviously thought it was summer in London because they just had shorts and those slip-on white trainers that football fans wear.
Oh, yeah, like a surgeon's shoe.
Yeah, but they obviously they didn't seem to. I don't want to start doing material about people who wear T-shirts in the cold. The worst kind of stand-up comedy material about being in Newcastle. And
Right,
people
and the women not wearing
and the
coats,
women,
perhaps?
And the women don't wear coats and the blokes wear T-shirts. Yes, I know, I heard it said in 1984!
Frank, did you read about this woman who had a bit of a DIY disaster this week? It was one of my favourite stories, I have to say.
Was it the flat pack thing? Oh, it's the best, one of the best stories ever.
So she got trapped, didn't she, whilst attempting to assemble a wardrobe? But what was she managed to call the emergency services.
She got trapped in the wardrobe that she was building.
Brilliant.
I think the secret is when you're doing a flat pack wardrobe or what, don't build it around you.
And it's sort of beautiful as well, because she's both bad at it and too good at it at the same time. Like, she's built it too well to get out of.
She's become over-involved, though.
Yeah.
She's taken it, if you build it, they will come to the nth degree.
Always
Frank-
stay outside. Retain an overview. That's my...
Frank, she took her ciggies in with her.
Oh, yeah.
So when the emergency services... She'd smoked a whole pack. Must have been like a pea super in there.
See, this makes me wonder, because she had her phone and her cigarettes with her.
Yeah.
Now,
a
maybe
lighter.
people just carry them all the time, I don't know. But,
In a cardy pocket.
yeah, do you remember the days, did you used to get this in Birmingham? Blokes used to tuck their fags and their matches in their T-shirt sleeve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you get that? So you
Do you
get...
think she's one of those? Do you
Well,
think-
maybe. I think she saw the disaster unfolding and
Do you?
thought, if there's a possibility I could end up inside this structure.
Sure.
I'll go and get my fags.
Shall I take
And,
a sandwich in there?
Exactly.
No.
She's planned ahead. She didn't stop. She thought, I'm going to carry on, but I'm just going to make a few precautionary measures. It's really it's wonderful. I've only ever built a flat pack, I think, twice in my life, and the idea that I could build one so sturdy that I couldn't get out of
Yeah,
it.
that's the bit I don't believe. It's just impossible.
I think it's an adult game gone wrong.
Maybe it happens a lot, People realise that when they built the top shelf, they're on it. They were up there tightening screws, and then they can't get down. Maybe it's the norm. I think I'm going to play something brilliant.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Hey, Frank, we've had a text from Tom, the gentleman with the Hungarian girlfriend-to-be,
Tom
potentially. Tom Genty, yeah. Hi, Frank, Tom again. I did forget about her, but out of the blue she contacted me.
Oh, something else fell through.
And she uses Google Translate.
Oh, there's such a thing as Google. Oh, the web!
I am going to teach her English. Now, he's used 3 exclamation marks in that one text message, so I can't help but think that
Well,
her
it's the
English,
blind leading the blind.
her English is going to be exclamatory, isn't it?
But that's all right.
Yeah, why not?
I might have been. Perhaps I was hasty when I said it wouldn't work out, because maybe the teaching thing would be a lovely way of bonding together.
Yeah.
You could do worse than a Hungarian. Lovely.
Yeah, but I love bright orange hair.
So I've got.
I'm guessing. That's my guess, bright orange hair.
So you're a fan of Prince
Attractive.
Harry. Prince Harry's more Oklahoma farmhand.
I bet attractive, blue eyes with an air of sadness, with an air of 200 years of oppression.
Is that a European thing?
with a Maggier temper, a woman who could ride a horse naturally, and bright orange hair.
That's Hungarians for you.
Well, they're all positive.
They are positive.
All positive attributes.
Frank, so...
If you want to text us, by the way, we're on 8 12 15.
Can I just say, this woman that was found in the cupboard, that this...
Can we say we're talking about a DIY thing? This is not a personal experience. Alan Cochrane. Hey, have you seen there's a woman in cupboard at bottom of stairs?
Emily's a dogger and I've got women in the cupboard. What a show this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. The bit that I liked about it in the article was that it had come out in the Freedom of Information Act.
Yes.
This is a weird thing, that apparently the Leicestershire Fire Service have had to admit it, because these are the silly calls that they get.
Oh, yeah.
I like one of the firemen, did you mean sometimes you have a bit of banter with them. I don't know exactly how
If
that
it's a
banter
bit
goes.
sexual, that's what it was. If it's a bit sexual, you can have a bit of banter with them.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think people are accidentally caught in, in
He's the kind of
compromising
person that
situations.
says, how you diddling, not 3 bad, I suspect.
Well, maybe. But
I think they
think
get
of
asked
the
what's
poor.
the damage.
Imagine the smoke coming through the keyhole and stuff when they arrive.
I actually think, as a fireman, if you walked in and somebody was locked in their own cupboard and smoking, that's potentially the worst circumstance of smoking. I saw some people
Yes.
smoking outside a hospital the other day. That
Yeah.
never looks good, does it?
No, but it's better than inside.
Smoking inside your cupboard that you're stuck in's really low on the and I also hate it when smokers put a cigarette out and then get straight on public transport and it
And
just
you can
clings
smell.
to them. Good.
Oh, God. So we'll be back with more One Foot in the Grave this time next week.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So I wanted to ask you if I seem like I have an air of gravitas more than I did a week ago.
Is that the organisation that kills people?
No, it's his aftershave.
Oh, that's Dignitas. Okay. You don't want to have an air of that about you. I can smell the ether.
I feel like I've been through some kind of rite of passage of more adult than I was a week ago.
Have you been to Emily's car park?
This time
Many
last week, I had lent my mum my house. I've never lent my mum a house before. Like, I've lent her stuff like a carrier bag if she's taking home something. But it's a big old thing, isn't it? It's a big thing to do. So my mum and her pals, they have like an Easter weekend. They call themselves the Golden Girls. Like thinking it's funny. It's more like Loose Women, to be honest. But they, if they're going to pick a TV programme, they're exactly the Loose Women demographic. But they borrowed the house, and let's just say I was more concerned about the fridge bulb going than the oven bulb going.
Oh my God.
Quite a lot of vino collapso going down over that weekend, I'm fairly sure. But yeah, it all went all right. Was
it okay?
Only had to talk her down to the cellar once to
I beg your pardon.
Well, they popped a fuse. You've
got a cellar, have you?
Got a cellar, yeah.
Fantastic.
Love the cellar. Love it.
What you got down there?
Wine. No wonder she was down there.
There's no wine down there.
That woman in the cupboard.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a woman doing DIY. She's been there ages.
I'm worried about her.
What have we got down there? Household junk, some weights, that sort of stuff.
I got a message from her that said, "Just can you get me another 20p to Stuyvesant?"
I thought you were going to say B&H, but no.
He's going Stuyvesant.
20 number 6. She's been down there a long time. I don't think I could do that. I respect your open-heartedness.
Well, this is why I mentioned it, because other people are really sort of weirded out by it. Like, you've lent your house out.
The house lending?
Yeah, people are really weirded out.
I'd like to be, in an ideal world, my super frank persona, that person who you want to be. I'd like to be the kind of person who could say to someone, I'm away, come and stay in my house. You can, just help me.
You don't think you would, Frank?
I just can't.
Well, don't ever ask me, Frank, because I house sat for a friend and the iguana passed away on my watch.
No.
Oh, well, there you go.
I had to organise an autopsy to prove it was nothing to do with me.
Well, my thing is, even people who I hold very, very, my closest, nearest and dearest friends, my family, people who I love, if they looked after my house for a week, I know if after they'd gone, there was anything I couldn't find, I'd immediately think they'd stolen it.
Frank?
I just know I would.
Oh my God!
I know it's terrible, but I know that would happen, and that would cause a big rift in our relationship, because, when I brought it up,
what if it was David Baddiel or someone?
Well, and I can resist everything except temptation, as I think Oscar Wilde said.
I think he did, yeah.
I don't know if he was talking about domestic pilfering.
I don't think so.
Well, whatever. Whatever.
I think his temptations were greater.
And also, people say things, even when people stay, they say things, did you know that the door handle in the bathroom had knocked a big hole in the plaster? And I thought, it hadn't. It definitely hadn't.
Well, I did have to send a text saying, did you guys use the oven? Because the oven doesn't seem to be working now.
You see?
And
broken or stolen, that's,
They hadn't used the oven, but for some reason it had been twisted, like it had gone onto timer, so it wasn't working.
They hadn't used the oven, my eye. They've broken it, and they've said, what the story is. A story is we've near used the oven. I'm working my way through the Cockerell's whole family, as far as the impressions are concerned.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had an email in. This was, I don't know if you remember, but you were talking about how you had a picture of yourself on the wall dressed as the Pope.
Well, you were talking about it.
Yes, I was, actually.
I mentioned the fact that I'm my own screensaver, and you mentioned the fact that there's a portrait of me as the Pope.
I rather love it, that painting. It was won Comedy Awards, made me feel nostalgic for the 90s. I liked it.
Yes.
Steve Oss.
I'm glad you associate me with Comedy Awards in the 90s. Come on, move on.
I'm sorry. Oh, God.
No, it's all right.
Contracts are up. Steve Oss. Frank, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. Steve Oss says...
Steve Oss?
Yes, that's what he's called himself. And it says Steve O.S.
Stevos, I imagine, is the unsuccessful son that didn't make Stavros Flatley. The sort of Amy Osborne who thought, I wish I'd done it now, when he suggested that we both dance with him. And I said, I know, it's embarrassing. Now I've missed out on the old SF phenomenon.
Well, Steve Oss is talking about stuff on his wall.
Oh, okay.
He says, on my toilet wall, I have a prison discharge notice from Pentonville for my great-grandfather, the Right Hon. George Lansbury, Labour Party leader. He was imprisoned for speaking out in favour of women's suffrage and released after going on hunger strike. This is next to my similar notice for being drunk and disorderly in a public place, Exeter 1974. Steve Oss.
Well, I'll tell you, I've got a similar that kind of framed juxtaposition, if I may say that. I've got when I got 5,500 people watching me at the Battersea Power Station. It was the biggest at the time. It seems minuscule now. At the time, it was the biggest solo stand-up gig ever in the world.
Wow!
Can you believe that? So it's actually I've got the Guinness Book of Records certificate framed next to a show I did in Edinburgh in 1988. Which says total venue sales 0, fringe office sales 0, number in audience 0, and then it goes on to say capacity 100, opens, which means empty seats 100. I thought, okay, no one was there. You don't have to put it in all those different ways. But so I've got those framed together as a sort of symbol of progress.
So that you know the yin and yang of...
yeah, exactly. So I can walk with kings and keep the common touch.
Oh, I don't know about the second part.
So there's that. But also, I saw this email.
Oh, yeah.
Because this came in the week, didn't it?
Midweek email.
Yeah, and I looked up...
George Lansbury.
George Lansbury is great. And this guy comes from quite a family.
Really?
Why they called him Steve Oss then?
The granddaughter of George Lansbury, the former Prime Minister, is Angela Lansbury.
No.
Yeah. So, what about that? Drunk and disorderly, she wrote. And not only that, but his other, her cousin, if you like, the other...
You've been doing some deep Googling, Skinner.
Is Oliver Postgate. Of, Noggin the Nog and Bag Puss.
Oh, yes, I do know.
And Emily loved him. Well, that could apply to a few people.
Car park.
So what about... So this guy, what a family. And a Prime Minister, Angela Lansbury and Oliver Postgate.
Yeah.
What dinner party that would be.
Have you had a quiet week? Quite a lot of research.
I was really impressed by that. We don't get many great-grandchildren of Prime Ministers writing, let's face it.
No.
Anyway.
Frank, have you been reading about this child with the same IQ as Stephen Hawking?
Oh.
She's called Heidi Hankins. Parents wanted her to be famous, wanted her to be famous, calling her that.
I'm worried that she has the same initials as Heil Hitler. Because there's always a hint of master race. I think she's a pretty child, but, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Do you feel a bit like blonde hair, blue eyes, high IQ? What could possibly go wrong?
Well, to illustrate how clever she is, they cited some instances. So she can count to 40. Okay.
Yeah. How old is she again?
She
4.
is
That's
4 years
quite good.
old. She can recite Owl and the Pussycat.
That's impressive.
That's good, yeah.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because those were her exact words. That's impressive. When she was served up some fish fingers once.
She's already developed irony. That's impressive.
But you see, I don't hold much truck with the IQ test, and that's because
I know what you mean.
Well, I tell you why, Frank. I did one once. I went online. I'd had a few glasses of wine, I won't lie. It was during Testination. It was a live interactive IQ. I thought, I'll do this.
Thinking I'm going to absolutely
I'll
blow
ace
them away.
it. Surely in the top 2. I got about 85.
Oh dear. Do you think that was the Veno Collapso at work then?
No, I panicked. And also, I'm not good on spatial awareness. So it was the triangle in the rhombus thing. I can't do any of that. It didn't ask me to quote from The Wasteland, which I could have done with some ease.
Well, fair enough.
Only the other day, my wife and I were sat on the couch and an IQ test came up on the telly, and she said, "Have you ever sat an IQ test?" And I said, "No." I said, "Have you?" And she said, "No." She said, "Should we do one online now?" And her iPad was by the telly about 6 feet away, and neither of us could be bothered moving for it. So we failed the application test before the IQ test.
Well, that's why IQ is so often wasted. Because people who've got it just can't be bothered to use it.
Maybe that's what it is. Better not knowing, though, isn't it?
I think it's always people without qualifications, if I'm honest.
I think it's that type of intelligence, isn't it? That it's, how can I put it in a kind way? Carol Vorderman, bright.
Carol Vorderman's one of those members of Mensa, isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
There's only 3 people I can think of that I know for a fact are members of Mensa. Carol Vorderman, Jimmy Savile, and Dolph Lundgren.
But I just think, I agree, I don't know how good at dinner parties these people are. Which, let's face it, is the be-all and end-all of life.
No, well, I think Heidi's a bit young for that kind of thing.
Oh, not in my childhood. That's when you're peaking.
I noticed that my girlfriend, she went away. She was out last night, and I got a night in on my own, and I watched a 90-minute, a very fine 90-minute documentary about Stalin's contribution to World War II. And I thought, I'm becoming a dad already. And I have to watch documentaries about World War II. It's the most dad thing ever.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, Frank, I was telling you about my hatred of IQ tests and people with high IQs, actually. Have you ever been asked... They ask celebrities to join Mensa sometimes, I note, or to take IQ tests.
I did have a look at the Mensa website.
On the web.
Oh, yeah, it's been Web Week.
What is it? www. No, because that's what people like Wogan say as well.
Oh,
They put the
okay.
www at the beginning.
hash slash
Forward slash.
yeah
Yeah.
org.
Mensa, isn't it? Mensa.
That's the real old... Anything that's got org in it, I think. 'Cause there's still things with org in the title. Anyway, so you can buy... What about this? You can buy... You know I love a hooded top.
Oh, you love a hoodie.
But a hooded top with Mensa across.
way.
Can you... who would wear in a million years?
Clever but comfortable. That's what you're telling the world there, isn't it?
Well, let's not call it clever. Let's say good at IQ tests.
Yeah. Which is different.
And also, one of their things is... And what about this? It's a Mensa mug, but it's got what they call an ambigram on it.
What's that? Not being a member of Mensa, I wouldn't know.
Well, who would? So what it is, it means it reads the same upside down both ways. And it said, so you can... It says Mensa when you're having a hot beverage, and also when it's upside down on the draining board. And I thought, this is the point, you see. It's intelligence being used for reasons that...
No one cares.
Yeah, no one cares about that. Who sits thinking, I might go and read some of the crockery, actually, while it's drying? Seems a shame for it to be doing nothing when I could be perusing it.
The number of times my wife walks into the kitchen and I'm doing a headstand so that I can read my Ran 10 Miles mug from the Sale Harriers from last year.
I thought you meant you were cleaning CDs.
Frank, we've had an email in.
Have we?
Yes. I'm going to call this Felt Tip Gate.
Okay.
It's regarding the sound of scribbling in the show.
Oh.
Someone, I think Alan's been contacted.
We were texted about this last week.
Yes, I've received a number of tweets from my followers. Call them followers.
Some Twitters. Have you had some Twitters?
Yes, I've had some Twitters on the www./ Riri Rays has tweeted, on the podcast, I often hear scribbling in the background. Are you playing Sudoku? Well, I can exclusively reveal the identity of the phantom scribbler. It is Daisy, the producer, and sometimes she writes notes to Frank. Doesn't she, Frank?
Yes,
I mean, they're not sort of...
She writes
love
notes like, shut up, you've been talking for 6 minutes.
It's,
or brace yourselves, it's the fall.
Yes.
It's sometimes a good sign as well, because it means that she's scribbling notes for things that we've said that are good bits.
She does do that. I know. If we say anything funny, and it doesn't happen every week, but if we say anything funny, Daisy makes a note of them so they can go on the trailers. That is correct.
And we should also say that Frank insists that she uses a feather and ink, so that's why it's so noisy.
Yeah. And sometimes there's a double whammy, is that the owner of Absolute sits in the corner writing begging letters. And that's often quite feverish. And of course I have so many autograph requests I have to...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm doing them. I'm
aren't
basically doing them all the time. It's like chewing gum to me.
Sometimes I'll do a Day of the Triffids DVD. Once I did it. But I did
Kate
do
Winslet's on the telly.
Hey, you can't just watch
sorry.
telly during a show.
Sorry, everyone.
Not in your front room.
Sorry.
For God's sake.
She's aged well. She's aged with grace. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so there is... well, I'm sorry about that. Used to happen when I did Gag Tag with Bob Monkhouse. Apparently, if I said anything that got a big laugh, you could hear him writing it down.
He had a certain coloured pen for jokes that were other people's.
God rest his soul. Yeah, it's brilliant. Any other communications from the outside world?
Yes, we've just had a text in from James Cravon. He says, glad to see that you enjoy a kibble.
Did he used to do news round?
Ah, he might well have done. That's twice you've quoted England's greatest short story writer, with Never the Twain and Keep the Common Touch. If you slip in the female of the species is deadlier than the male, you've scored an easy hat-trick. Keep up the erudition. James.
But I thought Never the Twain was E.M. Forster.
Is that who he means?
Well, it presumably means Kipling if it's Keep the Common
He's suggesting
Touch.
it's Kipling.
Oh.
Let's find out. Is it Mr. Kipling?
It's all gone very Anglo-Indian literature. Yeah, and that's how we like to end this show, generally speaking. So, I will now recite the whole of Gunga Din.
I'm going Hiawatha.
Oh, yeah? Oh, you've gone Longfellow. Anyway, look, Not the Weekend podcast, which is even more of this drivel, will be available to download from Wednesday. That's completely exclusive and original, well, as good as it gets, material, which you can only get on the web. I don't think there's anything else to add, other than if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back this time next week.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.